Let's start with the prompt. Which choice logically completes the text? That's one of our tougher prompts because we need to understand the text well enough to be able to predict what might follow it. So let's start. This painting, which depicts an elderly man teaching a boy to play the banjo, is regarded as a landmark in the history of works by Black artists in the US. Scholars should be cautious when ascribing political or ideological views to the painting. Beliefs and assumptions that are commonly held now may have been unfamiliar to the artist and his contemporaries, and vice versa. Scholars who forget this fact when discussing the painting, therefore, may be giving meaning to the painting where there is none. Just simply because that's a reiteration of what the passage said. It says if you're ascribing, which is giving, political or ideological value to the painting, they are not really realizing that the things that we know right now that we assume to be true may have been unfamiliar to them at that time. So it would be impossible for them to be giving it the same political or ideological value. So let's start looking at the answers. A, so people who forget this fact, who give that value, risk judging the painting by standards that may not be historically appropriate. Well, we're not really talking about judging the painting. B, tend to conflate the political views with those of his contemporaries. It wasn't about whether his political views align with those of the contemporaries. C, forego analyzing the painting in favor of analyzing his political activity. I don't really think it was about substituting political activity for analyzing the painting. It was just about whether or not we're allowed to give it a certain political meaning. And D, wrongly assume that the painting was intended as a critique of his fellow artists. Well, that's not good either. So it looks like maybe we need to bring an answer back from the dead. And which one just may be good? Let's start with D. He's not critiquing his fellow artists, so that really has to stay out. C, forego analyzing the painting in favor of his political activity. It simply wasn't about comparing the painting to the political activity. And B, conflating his views with those of the contemporaries. There was just no mention at all about whether the views match the contemporaries. So maybe we have to bring A back from the dead. Risk judging his painting by standards that may not be appropriate. Well, at least that talked about what the passage talked about, standards that are not appropriate, historically appropriate, because the passage said that the beliefs and assumptions that are commonly held now may have been unfamiliar at that time. So we're sort of judging the painting by standards that didn't exist at that time, that are not historically inappropriate, that are not historically appropriate. So we're going to go ahead and stick with A here.